Good evening, everybody. I thought it was time we had another reading from Olive Pixley, this time from part 2 of her Armour of Light material. I'm not doing this sequentially, I'm just doing what I felt inspired to read, and it's a section she calls the PU, P-I-Y-U. So I'll begin to read that now. In this exercise, we receive a conscious condition of light which teaches us how to get the equilibrium of our emotions and how to eliminate those emotions by which we are dominated: fear, uncertainty, and boredom. Visualize a solid triangle which forms a pyramid of golden light in the head. The base of the triangle has 3 points, one at each temple and the third in the middle of the head. The apex of this solid triangle is at the top of the brow. Draw the triangle through the top of the head until the back point of the base is at the back of the skull and the apex is at the egoic centre. The egoic centre really covers the crown of the head. Draw it back on an in-breath to the sound P-U. On an out-breath to the sound U, send the triangle up out of the head. As it ascends, the point drops through the base and is earthed in the heart. The base ascends to the throne of light. Because the point is earthed in the heart, all that the Father has longed to give us can now be received by us. Such good things, beyond our imagination, can be given us when we surrender the whole of our minds. In the mind is all emotion. In the heart is the stillness of true love. So when the base of the triangle rises from our heads, quite consciously put all your emotions, fear, jealousy, self-pity, resentment, etc., on that base and let it ascend to the Father. As it reaches him, he sends his gifts down the cone: courage, compassion, understanding, gentleness, which are transmuted into the substance of human prosperity and fulfillment through those who love us. Do this in the morning or midday, but not at night. The lining of gold was the preparation for the step I am going to give you today. The details do not matter. The light functions automatically in our heads as breath does in our bodies, so I think I need to go to the lining of gold, which is the exercise for the illuminating of the brain, in which you draw the light through the little fingers. Stand or sit with your hands up and the palms facing each other. In a flash, each little finger is lit up with a tiny bulb of light. On an in-breath, the light flashes up the arms, crossing at the nape of the neck, flashes into the head at ear level, runs round inside the head 12 times, and is breathed out on an out-breath from the egoic centre. The quickness of the sensation is most important, and it will revitalise the brain and the whole of the body. Do not try to direct it. The 12 double circles will light up the whole of the skull. You have only got to visualise the light in the fingers, and the rest follows in a flash. Each little finger is lit up with a tiny bulb of light. On an in-breath, the light flashes up the arms, crossing at the nape of the neck, flashes into the head at ear level, runs inside the head 12 times, and is breathed out on an out-breath from the egoic centre. The quickness of the sensation is most important, and it will revitalise the brain and the body. So we do that, and then it's the PU, the solid triangle, the the pyramid of golden light. So the 12 times light is obviously intended to help produce this golden triangle, which has 3 points, one at each temple, and the third in the middle of the head, with the apex at the top. You draw the triangle through the top of the head until the back point of the base is at the back of the skull and the apex is at the egoic centre at the crown of the head. Draw it back on an in-breath to the sound Pu. On an out-breath to the sound U, send the triangle up out of the head, much as happens in the Armour exercise in the early Armour of Light teaching, when the U is when we send up all our emotions and thoughts. As it ascends, the point drops through the base and is earthed in the heart. Which would be, I suppose, the triangle inverting, which the inverted triangle is, of course, when the cup by which the blessings of and grace of the divine can flow down into the human being, whereas the upward triangle is the means by which our prayers ascend. So that does make sense. The base ascends to the throne of light. Because the point is earthed in the heart, all that the Father has longed to give us can now be received by us, the cup. Such good things beyond imagination can be given us when we surrender the whole of our minds. The mind is all emotion, and the heart is the stillness of true love. So on the base of the triangle, we consciously put on negative emotions: fear, jealousy, self-pity, resentment, boredom, all these things that chip away at our souls, and we let them ascend to the Father to be transmuted. And as it reaches him in understanding, he sends his gifts down the cone: courage, compassion, understanding, gentleness, transmuted into the substance of human prosperity and fulfillment through those who love us. So the line of the goal was the preparation. Now we come to the conscious condition of light. Visualize a cubic triangle, there's your 12, which forms a solid pyramid of golden light in the head. The form of its construction is important. We must understand cosmic shapes and how our minds can be solidified in light, so that as all conditions are done away with, something concrete is put in their place. The base of the triangle is behind the eyes, the point is at the top of the head, just behind the forehead. It's quite small. The whole brow is a golden substance of light, and the front half of the head is completely solid in it. When this condition was established in me, I knew I could not work my mind, because I knew that this was only half the understanding. Then I saw the base of the triangle recede until it lay in the middle of my head, and the point was at the egoic centre. We have to draw it back on an in-breath to the sound Pu, and on an out-breath on the U. We send the whole contents of the head up the base of the triangle, and as it ascends, the point drops through the base and is earthed in the heart. As the triangle ascends, the base extends, and I saw it become the table on which all the things the human race is due to receive from God, on which were all those things. He has been enabled to give until this condition of receiving was earthed in our hearts. The first sound P, or pi perhaps, is incorporated by Pythagoras, that great soul who earthed the understanding of accuracy of form, initiative, perfection of form in this world, earthed with mathematical precision. Form is created in light, and a great soul was needed who could earth this understanding so that all minds could pick it up and tune into it. The bigness of the understanding was such that my mind was only able to contain a fragment of it. Pythagoras gave the world accuracy of mathematical precision of creative energy. The syllable pi is the perfect form of light and matter, and by form I mean all form. Da is equilibrium in flesh. Pu, accuracy of form in matter. The work of Jesus was different from that of Pythagoras. He made perfect rhythm in flesh and blood. and Pythagoras' perfect form in matter, which would enable scientists to find the pattern of creative energy. When the mind is solid in light, what we do not want to suffer we send up, and the power to receive is given us. We cannot do it. We must draw the light from the thinking part where all the psychological processes take place. Every action and reaction takes place in the mind, and now all reactions can be transmuted. The brain is the seat of every activity. Every action is provided by that group of grey cells in the skull, the dynamo of emotional life. Never let your mind stray a fraction from that condition of gold in the brow. If your eye be single, your whole body must be full of light, but it is so often roving all over the place. We must acknowledge our culpability of performance, after all that has been given us for the receiving and giving of perfect happiness in the world. We have this roving disposition of mind. It goes off at a tangent. We are not one-pointed, holding our vision in security of performance. Nor is it enough to read this technique. We must be it. People have so easily deceived themselves, doing one part of an exercise and not completing it. In doing the technique, do let your vision be absolutely on what you are doing. Light ought to work at the speed of light, but don't worry how long you take over it. The whole question of distance and separation lies in the mind. We are as near or far from a person as our mind takes us, and we are only separated from perfection by the distance in our minds. We do cling to our own aspect of thought, perhaps from fear of what we may lose if we give up that protection. I can only tell you that the process of giving it up brings a filling conditions such as we cannot possibly imagine. We could not imagine this cone of light formed by the ascended triangle, down which pours this infinite condition of life and love, the point being like a funnel, earthing it in the heart. The old teachers of wisdom did not understand. They thought that the knowledge of the mind and brain was the greatest thing. Jesus taught that the infinite condition lay in the heart. Brain and intellect pass away, but knowledge that is earthed in the heart will never pass. What is in the heart's blood is known and kept forever. The heart is a point of unity, and having sent up all transient human conditions, all separation, you are united with God. It was through the Pi-You that fearlessness was rooted in me. They've had to send the whole of myself up on that triangle. There seemed to be so much to get rid of. There was nothing to leave behind. See yourself lying there and send yourself, your whole mind, up there. What is sent up does not return, and the relief that takes its place, and the understanding that in surrendering your reactions you will be able to deal with every circumstance, whatever it may be, is bliss. The greater self functions perfectly through the heart. Do not send other people up, but send the reactions they engender in you. All emotions engendered by the actions of others can be sent up. It must be concrete, this sending up, for reactions are concrete things, not abstract, and may be expressed in different ways. By tenseness or withdrawal. When we are hurt, the heart contracts, a hardness ensues, and self-consciousness is put in the way. This sending up of all reactions is an utter necessity and needs true integrity. We must understand through the heart the inability of other people and of other circumstances to change until we ourselves are different. We are no longer capable of old reactions. Those same conditions have no longer any power over us. The Pi-You releases us from our emotional self, and things that have shattered us in the past no longer move us. Some suffer more through fear than love. There are so many fears, not just physical and nervous. Fear of the future, fear of failure, misunderstanding, loss of prestige. We must learn our fears so they can be sent up. Perhaps we fear the reaction of other people, but we need no longer do so, for our own fear of them was the cause. If we always expect certain people to act in a certain way, chances are that they will, because of the radiation which emanates from us. It is important for them that we send our fears for them upon the Paiyu. Never send it up empty. Be definite. Send up all that you yearn to get rid of. We all have some condition of insulation in us which is preventing perfect radiation, some kind of self-consciousness of fear of exposing ourselves to criticism or ridicule. The world is not kind to the self-conscious or foolish, but there is no need to come up against people's minds or fight their ideas. We have made ourselves foolish by projecting our minds against theirs. If our minds are touchy on any point, we must get rid of it, together with the fear of provoking touchiness in others. Do not discriminate between what you will or will not send up. All uncreative conditions must go, and until they do, they will keep on reoccurring. We are meant to be radiating a condition of peace, and we cannot do it until we are free of our fears. Thank you very much, the inestimable Olive Pixley. Golden triangles. 12.